Hey guys, I'm back and today I'm going to show you one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. I've had it for years. I use it almost all the time whenever I use eyeshadow, and that is the Lorac Unzipped palette. Mine has clearly been used and dirty. There are 10 gorgeous shades in it and I just love all of them. I do gravitate towards one look that I do all the time when I'm using the palette. It's easy, it doesn't go overboard, and it's something you can wear in the day and then you can kind of brighten it up to wear at night if you're going out. So I already did the rest of my face, very similar to my last video if you want to check that out. The only thing I did different is I didn't use the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I actually used a perfecting liquid that my company sells. It's wonderful, I love it. It's like skincare but looks like makeup, and it helps protect your skin, helps with anti-aging, and doesn't clog your pores. So I find that it works really well for me and I absolutely love it. All right, I'm gonna get started. So the first thing I like to do is I like to take a big fluffy brush and I take this first shade Undercover and I'll just swirl my brush in, tap off the extra, and then I put it all over my lid and up to my brow bone. This just helps to set all the colors you're gonna put on next. I actually, like in my last video, showed you how I just put my foundation and my powder on top of my lid, and that's all I really do. I don't add on an eyelid primer. You can, it's personal preference, whatever you like. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my crease shade, and I'm going to use this shade Unconditional. It's kind of like a mauve-y, pretty look. This whole palette is very mauve-y and blush colored, so I put it right here and I start to swirl it into the crease, and I'll bring it up to the point in my eye. It's always nice to have a transition shade that isn't too bright but also is in the same color scheme that you're going for. So I'll do the same on the other eye, swirl it in and drag it up. So sometimes I will just do this if you just want a little bit of color on your eyes, but I'm going to show you how I kind of add a little more of the colors to it. So I then like to take, often I like to take one of the other shades like Unbridled, or sometimes I'll do Untamed or Unspoken, and I'll put that into the corner of the crease. So I'm going to do a little bit of Unbridled, and I'm going to take this brush, it's smaller with a little point, put a little in Unbridled, tap it off, and then I start to kind of dab it into the crease area right here. Don't worry if it looks a little harsh because we're going to blend it out. This just gives a little bit of dimension to the other color that you did. So I like to tap it in, and then I'll go take Unconditional again, swirl it in, and I'll blend it out, dragging it in to the lid. You always want to blend your color so that you don't have any harsh lines with the different shadows that you use. So see how it just gives a definition in the crease. So then I like to use the shade Unreal, or sometimes I'll use Unbelievable. It depends. Unbelievable is a little more rosy. Unreal isn't as rosy. So it's kind of just an easy sparkly shade for the lid. So I usually use my ring finger. I'll swirl it in, and then I tap it right on the lid. What's nice is that you could also use a flat brush, wet the brush, and then you could use the product on there. If you wet it or you use something like MAC Fix Plus, it will make the shade stand out a little more. And then sometimes I tap it right in the corner here, just like that. So it gives a little bit of a glow. And then what I like to do, I don't often like to use eyeliner. I feel like it's too harsh. So I usually use a flat brush, a little brush, and I'll use one of these colors and I'll just drag it on top. So I wet this already, and then I'm gonna dabble it into, I'm gonna do a little bit of the Unbridled and Unconditional, like that, tap it off, and then I'll just drag it along the upper lash line. When the brush is wet, it helps kind of mute the color a little bit so that it's not too harsh or bright, but that so it still gives a little bit of definition right before you put your mascara on. So just like that. All right, so when I'm going out for a date night, I'll do the same thing underneath the lower lashes, and then I'll take a brush that's not wet and I'll kind of smoke it out. But I'm not doing that right now. This is just daytime, so that's all I'm really going to do on the eyes. Oh, except that I do like to take another brush and I like to add a little bit of that Unreal and put it up on the brow bone. This gives a little bit of sparkle, brightens it up, and lets all your colors blend in together. So that is the shadow. Now I am going to curl my lashes. And I'm going to use, I have the Lash Paradise that I used in my last video, and then I have the Benefit They're Real. Sometimes just because I have other mascaras, I like to kind of just do a coat of each. It's totally personal preference. It's just I have them, so kind of like to add them on. So I'm going to do They're Real. As you can see, I hit my nose. I often do that. Just let it dry, and I'll take a Q-tip once it's dry and wipe it off, and you won't even know it was there. So this is kind of my easy, could be every day, could smoke it out a little more. So this is the palette I use, the Lorac Unzipped palette. I love it. I love all the different shades. It's definitely rosy, mauve-y, and a good look for lots of different outfits and looks. So that's what I enjoy. I hope you guys liked it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!